And today we will talk about education, one of the most important aspects, I think, for everyone in this industry. And we have the pleasure to be with two experts on this topic to talk about developing hybrid learning models education, especially after what happened over the last 2 years, 1 year and a half exactly for the COVID. And I just want to welcome to Matilda. Thanks a lot also for hosting the event here in SAE Institute and to be part of it. And of course, Max for 343 Labs. And thank you so much for being part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's get into the topic. And I would love if you can explain us like a brief introduction of yourself, like who you are, what do you do, what is your role into the industry, and we can know more about you.
So my name is Matilda, and I actually haven't really been in the industry until like 2 years ago, I want to say. So I started studying music business here at SAE, and I came from just the retail industry before. So I was educating people in the retail industry, learning different systems and applications and training teams, and then I started studying here, and now I just finished my diploma in music business, and I'm also doing the department assistant role here and community manager at SAE Institute, and I'm also finishing up my bachelor's. So I want to say I don't know if I'm an expert on the topic, but I'm definitely been a student very recently, so I studied during COVID, so that's also something that you have to learn and adapt a lot. And now that I'm also working on like the educational staff side from SAE, it's a very interesting topic and it's very important. So I would say that's my role in the whole situation.
You, Max?
So I'm actually a classically trained musician. Studied jazz performance in London and then in New York, and then I was a long-time teacher at Dubspot, which was one of the first music production schools in New York. And 3 years ago, we founded 343 Labs, which has been around now for 3 years in New York, and we just opened a location about 1.5 years ago in Berlin. And we teach music production, everything from Ableton Live, Logic Pro, mixing and mastering, vocal production, composition and arrangement, all those things.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot for the introduction. And I want to go for the first topic, that is, what is the meaning of hybrid learning models? And because there's something that it take more relevance happened with the COVID and pandemic. And what do you think is the difference between the old school educational model, the difference between both, and how you handle and how was your experience with it?
Okay, sure. I guess we should really just discuss what hybrid learning is. And there's a couple different definitions for that, but I think hybrid learning is really when you have students in the classroom that are taking class in person, and then you have a couple students that might not be able to come to class because of the COVID situation, or maybe they're in a different city or different geographic location, but they can still join in real time in the class through video conferencing technology. So that is something that we really had to, in our teaching at 343 Labs, had to use a lot, especially with COVID, people getting sick, but not wanting to miss the class. So that is something that we really had to develop very quickly. And today's technology is making that possible.
For you, Matilda,
yes.
What was the experience here?
Yeah, when I started my course here, it was September 19. So the whole first semester that I did was very just on campus. Everything was physical as we were used to. And then after my first semester, we went into complete lockdown. School was closed, everything. So we had to do everything online, and we had to adapt to it very, very quickly because no one saw it coming. So it's a very spontaneous thing to adapt to. And now when we're at the situation where we can still see each other in person, and now we've also had a little bit of time to adapt to this new situation and to how to learn to like combine the physical and the online learning and just make the best learning experience from it. So it's definitely something that we've had to adapt to very, very quickly. And here at SAE, we also we listen to the students to see what works, how can we do it in the best way, what classes can we teach at the campus, who can come here, what can we do both ways. And I think it's a very much like feedback back and forth, what can we do, how can we improve. So it's definitely something that we had to adapt to.
I can imagine that it was a tough moment because for the two projects, 343 and CA, like because you have your plan and you don't know like this will happen, and then in one moment you need like completely change everything from zero, from scratch, and build that up and new. We will talk later about community, but a new educational system model, and this is something that you need to be fast as well because you cannot really lose time, no? I mean, like I don't know.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I'm going to show a video in a second which kind of shows how we transitioned to online. It was basically overnight. You know, in March 2020, everything shut down around, I remember it was Friday the 13th.
Friday 13th, yeah, exactly. I think we always we will remember the Friday 13th of 2020, you know?
And that was the last day that we had any classes, and then from the Monday on, everything was online. And yeah, we had to move very quickly, but I think you know, with modern technology, and we'll get into what technology we can use, but with modern technology, it's a lot is possible.
A lot is possible. Yeah, talking about the video, Max has a video which we'll play
Sure,
right now.
Yeah. So this video shows a couple things. Number one, the transition from in-person classes to online classes overnight. It also shows, so what we started doing is we started putting on daily live streams because we were in lockdown overnight, and we thought, how do we get to our community, and yeah, how do we still provide education to our community? And we figured the best way to do it would be live streaming. So everyone was locked down, but everyone could still participate. And I think that's a really important part of, you know, education, is building your community so that you can actually interact with your community. And then the third thing the video shows is an educational concept with accomplished DJs and producers that were all sitting at home during COVID because they were locked down. They couldn't play any shows. And so we used the opportunity to reach out to them and ask them if they wanted to share their process and workflow through online masterclasses. So anyway, so I'll just play the video. Hey, it's Max, co-founder at 343 Labs. Just wanted to give you an update on the situation that's affecting a lot of us here in New York City and worldwide. The whole music industry is being disrupted, as well as the education industry. But wanted to let you know that we're actually moving all our classes online.
Welcome back to another Techno Saturdays. I'm John Selway. Really nice show we've got planned for you today. I'm really happy. So hopefully you all will enjoy what we've prepared for you. Of course, this stream is brought to you by 343 Labs. We do 343 TV 4 times a week now. And, you know, sharing what we do as a music production school located in Berlin and in New York. We've got in-person classes happening again in New York, which is great news. And of course, we have our online program, so we, you know, that we can offer to you no matter where you are in the world. And, you know, we started doing this right at the beginning of the pandemic when everybody's locked down as a way of reaching out and building our community and sharing what we do with you. Without further ado, I'm very honored to introduce our guest today, Carl Finlow. What's up, Carl?
John is in New York, and through this technology, we're able to bring people together from all over the world. So And you'll see in the next one as well, there's actually another person behind the scenes who's kind of managing everything. So anyway, and what you also see in this video is how the guest is able to show his studio.
Hey John, how you doing? Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on the show.
It's my pleasure. I mean, we've been planning this for a little while. I've been looking forward to it. You've been great, like all the details of getting ready and making sure the technical side is taken care of. We've had a proper good time sort of nerding out on this, and I've really enjoyed the lead up to the show. So very glad to have you.
Me too. It's my first time doing anything like this, so getting the video and all of this working properly has been very interesting. It's good to see how it's done.
Yeah, it's good. And I have to say, like, I have a whole new skill set through the pandemic, learning how to be a live streamer and learning about broadcast and everything. So it's become not on the level of making music, but it's pretty close. It's kind of like getting ready for a live set in a way. Like, you know, you do your prep and then you go on and you're walking on a tightrope for an hour.
Well, let's hope it won't break. I've got a good stable connection here, so absolutely we should be good.
No, it's been great the whole time, and it looks good, sounds good, and you've got your whole thing set up. You know, just to sort of talk a little bit ahead about what we're going to do today, you know.
So let me play that again. Okay, so circuit is coming in here on an audio track. This is the baseline sequence that was playing on the circuit. This is now playing the SH.
Or that's actually the Behringer version, right?
This is the Behringer. I got one of the early ones that still says 101 before they have to change it for legal reasons. Got it.
Hello, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to this
Next clip, which is taken from 343 Pro Sessions with Nandu from Innovisions.
exciting 343 Pro Sessions with Nandu. We are very excited to have him join us today and share his extensive expertise and knowledge. As you can see, we have moved over to Vimeo. I think everyone will enjoy this new Pro Sessions. It's going to be a lot more efficient, and the quality will definitely be better. With that being said, please welcome Nandu.
Hello guys, I'm here. So first task for me is to check if I'm actually online, which I think I am. 1 second here. I've been looking very much forward to this day. It feels kind of being on a gig again, which is amazing. I need you to know that I will be available in the chat. So if you have any questions during the session, you just ask them. I will try to answer during the process we're going through. And also then, as Ivan said, I will kind of like sum everything up in around 6 o'clock. I also thinking about having maybe a 5 minutes break at that point. But let's see how fast time runs. From there, we will go into the way that I normally make a track. So what I've prepared today is almost nothing. I have like a empty sketch. You can see it here. And then we will try to build something together. This is my studio. And already I have to excuse myself because there's no doubt that I will do some mistakes in this video cutting. But first of all, you can see here where I sit. I have today lined up one computer here, which is the music computer. Then I have my chat over there. And then we have the computer that's streaming here. And to don't get any problem with feeds, everything will be in headphones. I have a set of headphones here. And then I will show you now. This is this is where I have my gear in. So I have a mixer here. I have some old synth here. I have a lot of small weird stuff here. Yeah. And then in the other end of the room, I have my recording area, and we will work with that a bit later. I have a lot of nice percussions lined up for you guys, so we'll just try to play a little bit around with that.
With that being said, please welcome Jimmy Jules.
Hi.
Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you? Right, this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Why do you walk around my house? Oh, uh-huh. Yeah. Oh.
A lot of questions about your process. Obviously, your process is super unique compared to some of the other pro sessions that we had. It's unorthodox.
So, well, I think we'll just pause stop the video here. But basically, what you can see, so Ivan is in Chicago, and Jimmy is in, I think, Zurich or somewhere. Maybe not even. We don't even know. Maybe he's on the moon. But through this technology, you know, we're able to ask questions in real time, get those answered, and he's able to share his audio from his computer. He's able to show his studio, so we've got cameras set up, and that all takes, you know, it actually also opens a lot of opportunities that we didn't have before, because we never really needed to think about those things before COVID, like not being able to be in the same space as someone. So now we suddenly have access to some of these really established producers that we look up to, and we have access to their studios and their workflows and all this kind of thing. So yeah,
what I really like, and it's like the connectivity that you can create. Like for example, when we saw this two professionals talking, and you have the YouTube chat. That you can connect with the audience so fast, so quickly, but at the same time, you can use this channel to sell your products, because I saw that you guys post $200 voucher Ableton.
Oh, yeah, right.
So this is really great,
Yep.
because you never thought about use YouTube chat to sell your product, or to sell something, or just like a tool to like get connected, you know? And then in the end, this is how you say, no? Like you never thought something till you need it.
Yep.
And this is great. This is great how you can really like, connect it more with the people and to expand your brand, your product, no? And this is amazing, especially in those times, you know, where you really need to get as much as you can, and so it's.
We also had a lot of support. So actually, that $200 Ableton voucher, that was we do as part of 343 TV, we do giveaways, and the brands. We reached out to the brands, and they supported us through COVID by giving these little giveaways. There might be plug-in vouchers, or there might be, $200 vouchers for whatever in the Ableton store. And you could, so our community could win these giveaways. And yeah, it was also a nice gesture from the music industry, as the brands, Arturia, Ableton, Bitwig, all those brands that kind of helped us.
Yeah. So for the next question, let's start with you, Matilda. I will ask you, like, of course, like COVID affected the music industry, but I want to ask for your experience, and also like how this affect the education system, especially here in SAE, and how do you adapt, and how was for you guys?
I mean, since according to regulations, we were not allowed to have the campus open, then we had to do everything online. So it was really up to like SAE to really adapt. As you said, we had to adapt super fast. Like on the day, classes were starting on Monday, the lockdown started. Like there was, so with SAE, everything went actually really smoothly. Like we went over to Zoom very quickly. The lecturers did their stuff online. We did all the classes there. The SAE kept all the students informed, and it was also such a challenging thing, because it was both a huge challenge for me at the time being a student, for us students to be able to learn in this new way of not coming to campus, having to do everything online, and at the same time SAE had to adapt so much and take on this huge challenge at the same time as trying to deal with the students and give updates and keeping everything in one place. So it was a huge like switch for everyone. But we did Zoom, and then when campus started opening up a little bit, we also went over to the hybrid. So like we did on-campus events, as we call them, where we have workshops at campus, but it was only allowed for a few students. So when that was we were able to do that, then some people would join over Zoom as well, some people would join in the classroom, and then we just had to, according to the new regulations, the current lockdowns, whatever was in place at that time, we just had to adapt and do what we could over Zoom, what we could in the classrooms, and just, use the technology that we had and of course, like in the beginning, it was tougher because we had to go in from nothing and just do whatever we could. And then, of course, as time passed, we learned how to adapt and to use new technology, and we see what works and what doesn't work. So it's a constant process still to get everyone.
Yeah, because I mean, like, you guys are here in Germany. You are in Spain, of course. I was in Madrid office. You are also in England.
Yes, SAE Institute is all over the world. It started in Sydney, actually, so it's...
So, I mean, how was for the brand? Not here in Germany, just like the brand, like, you adapt yourself, guys, depend the country rules, or you had a master plan for the entire brand, and you adapt, depend which was of the rules of the country at that moment with the COVID,
Yeah.
because in the end, you need to have, like, you know, like, this kind of same ideas for the entire brand, otherwise, the people, the student will say, okay, it's something missing here, so.
Yeah, I think for SAE had like a general plan overall, but then of course the different countries had to adapt to the different rules. So it would vary a little bit depending on, lockdowns, regulations, and yeah.
And what about for you?
Yeah, same for 3-4.
Something I can add real quick to that is that SAE is run all through Middlesex University, which is a university based in England.
Okay.
Now, and the programs, you know, every country has like their own office. So in Germany, the main office that sort of governs all the
government,
courses. And Germany is in Munich. I think it's, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the head office is in Munich, yeah.
Like everything runs through Munich in Germany, and then they adhere to what the Middlesex guidelines are and how we can adjust around that, because our accreditations all come from this Middlesex University.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Sorry to...
No, thank you. Thank you for the information. And how was for 343? Because actually you told me that you moved in Berlin, or you started in Berlin in which?
Yeah, we started in July.
In July.
So actually it was right after the first wave.
Yeah. How was for you guys?
And yeah, it was extremely up and down. You couldn't really make any plans. And yeah, we opened up in Berlin. Luckily, our courses are really small, so we only had about 5 students per class, and we were able to keep the 150 safety distance, and we followed all the health and safety guidelines. But that was tough, and then the next waves came, and we kind of got through those. But we really had to, the rules and regulations were changing every day, so we just had to adapt and follow those closely. And they were different in New York, definitely, than in Germany.
And talking about positive and negative things, I'm always used to, or I like to just take the positive things, but the negative things, I think like you need to have as an example to don't have the same mistake in the future. So, but what you will feel the positive and negative things between hybrid educational system and the traditional one? What is the difference, or what do you feel during this journey? Okay, this is better than that we had. This is not better. It's better like face to face. So, how was for you?
I think the negative aspects of the hybrid model is definitely, and this is also something that I've talked to other students about, that sometimes when you're sitting at home doing education on your laptop, for example, it's very easy. It's easier to get distracted when you're sitting at home with your laptop than if you're in a classroom with other people studying together. So I think that's what the most people felt, and also for me it was the most negative aspect, that you kind of felt like the isolation, that you couldn't actually see your classmates and people at school, and having like the community feeling of going to a campus and studying. And the positive things of doing it is also that it's very flexible in the sense that you can be at home and do other things, have other things at the same time, and that you actually can study while being at home and not having to, and also that you can create also an online community, because when you don't have the community at SAE here, for example, then you can create an even bigger. I know that also at SAE we did masterclasses, for example, where we had campuses, not only Berlin. So we had, since a lot of people could join online, then we had, I think, even global masterclasses where people could join from everywhere in the world to tune in. So in that sense, also what you talk about with like new technology, that is definitely like the good things about. And also what students have told me when I've asked them as well is that some students are a bit overwhelmed coming to a campus every day. Maybe they don't have the social batteries to come and interact with people face to face every day. So for some people, like online learning is actually very, like they prefer it.
Yeah, they prefer it.
And also the hybrid model of sometimes coming to campus, sometimes doing it online can also be a benefit. So yeah.
I think there was also kind of the mindset that in-person learning is much, much better quality because you're there face to face, and then because students were kind of forced to do online, virtual, via Zoom or whatnot, they actually realized that they could get just as much out of the online classes as the in-person. And then sometimes they started preferring that because they like the flexibility. And in terms of other positives, I think the massive positive is that you can just build a community, a global community now from, you know, you have people interacting from Australia and South America and North America, all over the world, and kind of networking and forming relationships, and being able to have access to these amazing artists and courses.
Yeah, and actually, like to create this community, we will go, of course, to the technology, and if you can let us know how was all this technology that you have both for your projects and how you use this technology to grow up, to get new audience, to be able to spread your knowledge to your students. So how was the way to use this technology, and if you found new technology that you didn't use before?
I mean, for SAE, we have used Zoom a lot, and it's been great because we've had rooms with so many people, and you can all interact with each other. And when everyone keeps their camera on, it can be very interactive. And I think that's the greatest tool that we've used. And of course, like social media becomes important as well, because if you're trying to reach people, social media is always a good way as well to advertise and reach people to do it. And I think. Yeah, for us, I think Zoom has been the most used tool.
Platform.
Yeah.
And for you, Max?
And yeah, I mean, so I think for the small classrooms where it's like, you know, 10 students per class, Zoom is great. But then if you're going larger than that, let's say you're doing a masterclass for 100 people or even more, then I think streaming becomes really, really interesting. And a lot of our instructors are streaming, you know, as you saw on 343 TV, and they're using technologies like OBS or Ecamm Live, and then we're streaming on our YouTube channel or maybe on Twitch. And then a third thing is that really worked for us is our Discord server. So I don't know if anyone here uses Discord. It's kind of like a gamer's version of Slack.
It's also something that SAE has been adapting.
What is exactly? I don't know. About
So it's a community building app with a lot of different channels. So you can have a channel on different discussions, like discussion forums. And for example, you want to talk about Ableton Live, you want to talk about mixing and mastering, and people can ask a question and other people can answer. We actually also set up a dedicated classroom, virtual classroom for every class on the Discord channel, because you can set different permissions, so only the students in that class can see that channel. And that way,
and they can talk between each other.
They
just
can
more
talk
like
within each other,
with voice, with
with everything. So they can chat. They can do a video conference within Discord. They can ask their teacher a question, you know, after class is finished. So in fact, the education experience is way more fluid than in a class, in an in-person class where you show up for class and then when you leave, that's it until you see your instructor the next time. With Discord, you can have a continuous conversation with your instructor and your classmates. You can be posting music and getting feedback and so forth.
And this is what we talked the other day, no? Like that now with all this new system, we will be able to record all that in the end this is really amazing for like people that maybe lost something during the class, or like they just want to like see again to refresh some knowledge, or like that was a huge point I can imagine for you both, no?
Yeah, that's actually something that I should have mentioned in the positive aspect. Yeah, that we can actually record, because then students can go back and repeat everything, and if they don't have the time, they can go back and watch it in peace and quiet, and that's also very, very good, because you have the material at your disposal. You can watch it. Some people watch it in higher speed, so it's quicker, which is also very smart. But yeah, for sure, it's a huge advantage. Yeah.
So talking about like, because during this time I talked with so many people from the industry, like owners from magazines, owners from projects like Institute or Educational Model Systems, and the economic aspect was really like struggle, you know, to survive, to get resources. I would love to know, what do you think about sponsorships, and if you work during this time with any sponsor to boost your project or to get new things, or like you found any kind of to get these resources, you know, like to work, I don't know.
Well, I think for us, I mean, I don't think, you know, funding a education project or a school really, I mean, every school is different. I don't know how SAE does it, but you know, we rely on the tuition that the students pay. And in fact, our school grew because our online school really kind of grew a lot overnight. And so we didn't really face that challenge so much, because we actually had a lot of sign-ups coming now, not only from New York and Berlin, but from all over the world, that could now take classes with us. And so I mean, we did have some sponsorship through the 343 TV giveaways, and I think more than sponsorship, I think the brand awareness is really important, and having big industry brands behind you gives you, you know, that visibility and kind of recognition. So that's important from a marketing standpoint. But we didn't really get any financial support or anything like that.
And for you, did you feel like now with this online process and hybrid educational system, did you increase the volume of your student worldwide, or how was for SAE?
I actually don't know, to be honest, how everything, like if it increased or stayed the same or decreased. I know that there are like new students started also during like the lockdown, when everything was pretty much online. There were still students who enrolled to the university. So and the same thing for us, we also finance through the tuition that the students pay. And also we had still like the master classes and stuff that we could do during this time online. We had collaborations with like the major labels. We had from Universal, for example. We had master classes, and we also had companies that helped out with student projects. So we had to do like live events, and we obviously had to do live streams because we couldn't do the physical events. And we had some companies really helping out, and they did some giveaways and stuff as well. So we also had from the industry companies who are willing to help and collaborate and come together for different. Yeah.
And one of the things that we talk already about it, but it's really important, it was fan-based, to create like a huge community, be proactive with them, because this is a huge mistake which I found. Like people like to have community, they don't. One thing is to have them, another thing is how to know how to work with the community. And you need to be proactive, and you need to be there and offer new content and just be there. And how was for you in terms to create this community, especially in that time that it was really important for educational model? And what do you think, how you can use this community for the global communication and in the future, no, you know, for your project?
I think what's very important about a community is also, I mean, because there's also a difference in when we talk about like learning, it's also a difference between like active and passive learning. Like passive learning, you have a person giving information and then it's up to you to whatever you want to do with the information, and the active learning is when you actually interact with either a teacher or other students or peers and you do group work. And I think when you focus more on like active learning and you have events where people can, it's not just a lecturer giving information, it's actually back and forth, and you get to reflect on your work and in the education and what you can learn personally from it. I think that also contributes to the community and to create a learning experience where everyone is learning together and can discuss the education together. And through that, like at SAE at least, we try to just talk, like have a conversation with the students and see what they need, what they want, because it is a challenging time. And therefore, we are trying to put on as many events as we can according to what we can do with the regulations. So we've done masterclasses online, for example. We've done hybrid events now where we have masterclasses here. Just this week we had a gaming masterclass, and we have an amount of people here in the auditorium, and then we have the rest watching over Zoom. And the community aspect is so important, because if people are sitting at home watching, at least they can feel that other people are also there watching, asking questions,
Yeah, exactly.
and getting all the information. So we try to just engage the students as much as we can with sending out newsletter about what's happening, inviting them to come to different classes and to interact and to post and to just try and give them as much as we can with the tools and resources that we have. So the community aspect is super, super important.
And how was for you, Max, at 343 Labs? Because at the same time was adapting to this time, creating community, but at the same time, how you said, you opened the Berlin base. So how was all this journey for you guys? It was really exciting, I can imagine.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in Berlin, we were fortunate. You know, between the different waves, we had in-person events. So we're at Riverside Studios, and we're actually in the same event space that the conference is happening at. And in New York, we're also very active in-person events. We do at least one weekly in-person event. But during lockdown, I mean, we really had to flip the model, and that's why we went into 343 TV, which was the daily live streaming. And then on our Discord channel, we had a lot of sample challenges and competitions to get the community engaged. So again, we were working with sponsors. You know, we had a prize that was maybe a plug-in, and then the community would all make a track using one of the samples that we gave them, and it would be judged on 343 TV. You know, on our YouTube channel, everyone would watch, and it was a great way to get the community together. And just also to add, besides the social aspect of kind of, you know, being important to learn as a community, because we're social beings, right? It's important to do this together. I think the other really important thing about community, which is maybe as important, or if not more important than the educational aspect, is that the relationships that you make as a musician for your future career, and the people that you meet along the way that you might be studying within a course are going to help you. You know, with any education, that kind of making those relationships is really, really important.
Yeah, actually, I was talking with a friend of mine, and he told me like he's a little bit scared about like we will get too into these online things, that we will lose the human contact, and we will stay behind our computer. How do you feel about that? Because you are working on educational, and are you scared of, I mean, I want to know your point of view personally, and then as professional, how do you feel that like the people will say, I don't want to go anymore there, I just want to be, and we will lose somehow this human being process, contact to meet each other? I don't know, what do you feel about it?
Personally, I really like meeting people in person. So I think it's fun if people want to come together again and like networking, as you talked about as well, like making connections and networking with each other. And so personally, I think I really hope that it's not going to be too much computer sitting at home doing it there. But then also after talking to students, knowing that there are actually some people who don't prefer to come to a campus, for example, to study. They like to doing it at home. Maybe they are maybe more introvert and maybe don't want to come out so much. And of course, in the end, it's a good thing that we have the opportunity to choose. So from a professional standpoint, I think the mix is, it's good that everyone has their opportunity to do whatever makes them feel good. But personally, of course, I think it's fun if people come together. And
what do you think, Max?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really big topic, and I think it's more a question of like where is our society headed? You know, as a society, are we all going to be living in a virtual world or not? And I think that that's totally, and education is just going to follow that. So whatever is socially acceptable is going to dictate how we process education, or how we present education. And if the social norm is all virtual, then I think education is gonna, and it is already going that way. It never replaces the human contact, but I think just the ease of use and what's socially accepted means that I think more and more we're gonna see that happen.
I completely agree. We used to say always like we act local and think global.
Yeah.
And this is something that I really, really, really like. And I want to ask you, because that was also exciting time with you, for you guys, like collaborate with artists, creating how we talk about the streamings, give them the chance to master classes, to make streamings, to also somehow earn money for the artists, but also like this kind of win-win. And I just want to know how was this process, or how did you came with the idea, or like how was the collaboration, of course, with artists and audience, and on the way to create more value for both projects? No, how was it?
Well, for the pro sessions that we did with the artists, it was kind of a really happy accident, or not. Yeah. It was definitely planned, but we would never have thought of it. Well, number one, we wouldn't have been able to get access to these artists, or these artists wouldn't have really agreed to do these sessions because they're busy touring and all this kind of thing. So then when COVID happens, it was a win-win for both of us, because they were at home and they needed to make a living, and we used this as an opportunity to get their knowledge to our community. And it really worked out that way.
Okay. And how was for the institute?
Yeah, it was, as Max is saying as well, it's a very, in that sense, convenient situation, win-win, because a lot of people were out of like the normal tasks to do. So there were people who were available, and since everyone is affected by COVID in one way or another, then that also in itself creates some kind of willingness to collaborate and to help each other out. So it was just very nice to see how the different masterclasses happened, and the different companies and labels were just giving their resources and the people who were experts. And so many people came to the online classrooms, and so many people asked questions just in the chat or with their mic. And it was just a very, very nice thing to see that even though campus was actually closed for a lot of these events, that you can still go online and see that people learn and people are willing to share. And so many of these masterclasses went over time, and the guest lecturer was just like, no, it's fine, just ask questions. I have all nights. I'm sitting at home in lockdown anyways. I don't have anything better to do. So it was a very nice experience to see how it just came together.
Will you continue with this? I mean, this is something that maybe you didn't before, but now you start to do it, the streamings and this kind of collaboration, and now you want to take it for your upcoming educational courses, and you will keep doing this, or it was, you think, like was a hype from the COVID, or will it stay with us? The streaming.
Well, for us, it's definitely going to stay. I think COVID just really opened up that door, and I think it was a process that was happening anyway, and COVID just times 100 speeded up that process. Yeah. And so we're definitely going to be continuing with the streaming. We're definitely going to continue with the pro sessions, bringing artists to our community. and the online school is gonna keep growing. So I think we're gonna continue everything, and if anything, we just had to learn these skills very, very quickly, like the technology as well. And now that we have it, we're actually a lot further along than where we would have been, and now we can use that technology and incorporate it into our daily teaching.
Yeah, this is why I said, like, take the positive things always for the negative things, no? And I think, like, that was really amazing. Like, we were able to use the technology much further that we never did before. We understood and we learned so many things that we knew that was there, but how I said, you never think about something until you need it. And the common question is, what is about the future? I mean, like, we know it's like this new hybrid educational model as a normal, new reality educational model. How looks for you the future? What projects do you have? Maybe you can tell us some secrets.
So for us, we definitely will also continue with these things. Like now we had to adapt super fast and throw ourselves into this online, whole new online world of education and events and communities. And now that we are still in COVID, we still have our restrictions, and I think from now we know how to adapt in a very fast and unexpected way. So now I think we can definitely use what we already have been able to do and just push it further and make it the best situation that we can. For example, doing things online and offline at the same time, to be able to also have people from different countries, different continents joining in. So like at SAE, we're now working on the community event plan for next year, and we're just pushing to have as many different, like, diverse masterclasses and community events and expert talks and panels and everything that we can to include all the students and the alumni and everyone who wants to join. And we really want to create like a strong community online and offline and combine it in the best way that we can.
Giving always the chance to the person to come to here, or just like...
Say again?
Like always giving the chance to the person to make it online, or like...
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So what we usually do when we have the hybrid events is that we invite all the Berlin campus students to come here, and then the whole Germany, Switzerland, Austria region for like, that's the usual procedure to have the online experience. Yeah.
And how looks the coming future for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think COVID just really challenged what is normal in education, and I think the new normal now is well, we now expect everything to be hybrid. We expect access to classes from anywhere in the world, to take them anywhere in the world, and I think institutions are going to be expected to provide that kind of access. So that's all definitely going to be changed, and that's something that, you know, we're definitely going to continue doing. I think people are going to expect to have access to, like, really kind of like artists that they wouldn't have, that normally wouldn't. Artists even themselves are going to be expected to do education more than before, because it's so easy for them. All they need is an internet connection, and they can stream a class from while they're on tour. So that's going to be a thing. We're launching a new platform that is a subscription model, which is online masterclasses, feedback sessions, networking events, and collaboration workshops, which is called 343 Studio. And in that, it's going to bring together the community from all over the world, and also artists from all over the world sharing their knowledge. So that also came out of COVID.
Really great, sounds really great, and so happy that we had this panel, because how I say, the education is always really important, and I think like the people should know more about it, and especially with these two big projects. And I just want to thank you so much, of course. And now, like always, we will start with a QA round, just in case someone want to ask something to our guest. Don't be shy, feel free. No? Okay. So once again, thanks a lot for your time, for spreading the knowledge, for
Thank you.
for your passion, for your love, and yeah, hope to see us soon and keep going.
Great.
Keep going. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.